Welcome to A Stylish Life. My name is ShaKayla Diamond, and today I'm bringing to you another video for Black History Month. And this video is all about Black people that you should know in the fashion industry, who have done amazing things in the fashion industry. I know in a video before I kind of touched on a few people that you should know, but I'm going to expand it in this video. So let's just go ahead and get started. I am just going to list them off pretty much and give a little spiel about who they are, but like I'm not going to go into long detail. I probably will like add their name on the video or in the description box, that way that you can, you know, go search them to learn more information about them. But this is pretty much just a list so that you know who's who and who you need to know, especially if you're in the fashion industry or trying to get into it. So the first one is Andre Leon Talley. You've probably heard me talk about him before. He is a fashion enthusiast. He's an icon. He's a legend. He's worked at many magazines. He's worked as editor at large at Vogue before. He's also worked at the New York Times magazine. He's worked at W. He's worked at Women's Wear Daily, and he's just that iconic, extraordinary person within fashion. He's like my top favorite person in fashion, and I absolutely love him. If you want to know more information about who he is, if you don't know him, then you can watch his documentary, which is absolutely amazing. It's called The Gospel According to Andre. I'm not sure if it's available on YouTube, but it might be, so you should watch it. He is definitely somebody you want to know, and he's definitely my favorite. Next we have Kirby Jean Raymond. I know that you guys have heard me talk about Pierre Moss, the brand, a whole lot. That's his brand. He does an amazing job. He's an advocate for the culture. He brings like culture and history into his clothing. He's a great designer, and he does great things within the fashion industry. He also just won the CFDA Fashion Fund Award, which is absolutely amazing. Not many Black people win that award anyway, and for him to win, it was great. So if you don't know who he is, you should go look him up. And if you don't know who he is or his brand is, go look up Pierre Moss as well. That's his brand. Next is Aurora James. I've mentioned her company before too, I believe, in the video about me speaking on Black brands that you can support. She's the designer and the creator of Brother Vellies, which is like a shoe and like accessory handbag brand. She has an amazing motivation behind her brand. Besides just creating clothing and things like that, she wants to make sure that she's employing people that look like us and that are from across the diaspora, and that they're getting paid well so that they're able to still take care of their families. Next we have Dapper Dan. If you don't know, I've talked about him in the last video because of the whole Gucci scandal. But if you don't know who Dapper Dan is, aside from that, you need to go look him up. He's an icon in the fashion industry. He's been around and been doing this. He is top dog, designer, creative. He's a genius. He's an icon. He's a legend. You need to know who he is. Before all of this Gucci stuff was going on, and before he got his collaboration with them, he was doing this a long time before. He's been doing this since, I believe, the 70s. Yeah, and he was really huge within the fashion and hip-hop industries, and was really one of the pioneers to bridge the two together, because he would dress people like LL Cool J and everybody like that in amazing designs. And he was blackballed from the fashion industry due to the types of, pretty much, brands were jealous. Bigger brands were jealous because he was using, you know, their logos to make something that they could never in their life even be able to do. So they were jealous and they blackballed him, and for 30 years he was still designing, but he was not out in the public. And then after that 30 years, in like 2017 is when Gucci got called out for remaking his jacket and not giving him credit, and then that collaboration sprouted. But Dapper Dan was along way before all this Gucci stuff. He's been doing this. He's been had the visionary eye. He was actually at a panel in New York the day before I got there, and I was so mad that I missed it. But if you don't know who Dapper Dan is, make sure that you go Google him, you go check him out, you go find out what you can about him, because he is a legend and an amazing person within the fashion industry, an amazing black person in the fashion industry at that, but just an amazing person overall in the fashion industry. Next is Virgil Abloh. You probably know who Virgil is. He is currently the artistic director for Louis Vuitton, but he is the creator for Off-White as well, if you didn't know. Virgil, he didn't start his career out in fashion. I believe it was something more along the lines of like engineering or architecture, but he ended up getting into fashion. You know, a lot of people in the fashion industry, they don't go to school for it. It's not something that, you know, they might have thought, okay, I'm going to make a career out of this, but they might have always liked it and stumbled back upon it. But Virgil is someone else to look out for. Despite what your personal opinions of him might be, he is someone that you might want to look into to learn more information about, because he is a black person within the fashion industry. Next is Jason Rimbert. I talked about him in my last video, I think, and you also saw him in the New York Fashion Week vlog. He's the stylist for Issa Rae and Rita Ora. He is the person who's responsible for dressing Issa Rae in all black designers for the CFDA Fashion Fund Award, I believe in 2017. And he's an amazing stylist. I got the chance to see him at a Women's Wear Daily panel when I was in New York, and it was so amazing and refreshing to hear his story and to hear him really talk about the struggles of being a black stylist or a black person coming into the fashion industry, and what barriers you really have to try to break down to really get in and get to where you're trying to go. But he is definitely somebody to look into. Like I said, he's a wardrobe stylist. He also just released his first collection of his brand. I believe it's pronounced Aliette. He said that it's his mom's first name and his daughter's middle name, and he released the first collection of it during New York Fashion Week, and it was really nice. It's something to look into and to look and see if you want to purchase something, because remember, support black businesses, and not just in February during Black History Month, but he's somebody amazing to look into. So I will search him as well. And also, he seems like he's really interested in giving opportunities to younger people and passing back and trying to help younger generations out. So if he's in LA, I think he's based in LA, but if you're looking for like an internship or something like that, he seems pretty open to receiving emails, and he said he checks his DMs all the time. So sis, bro, I will look into that. Next, we have Missa Hilton. She's the iconic stylist that would dress celebrities like Diddy, Lil Kim. In the 90s, she was It Factor. Her and June were It Factor, It Stylist. She was the one responsible for having all of the looks on point and all of the legendary iconic fashion moments on point. So she's definitely somebody to look into. To this day, she's still doing amazing things. Like, she's the global partner with MCM, so she's also dabbling into design and things like that. She designed the MCM outfit that Beyonce had on in the Ape Shit video. So Missa is definitely somebody to know. If you don't know her already, look her up. She was iconic in the 90s, and she still is iconic right now. Next, we have June Ambrose. She's my auntie in my head. I love her to death. She's a stylist. She's a costume designer. She's responsible for many fashion moments in history, like the Missy Elliott garbage bag. That whole story about how in the video she was literally standing behind her trying to keep it afloat. Like, that's iconic. Like, that's what you do as a stylist. You do what it takes to get that look off. But she's responsible for that. She's responsible for some of Busta Rhymes' iconic moments. She's responsible for styling Jay-Z. June is an icon to know. If you don't know her, you need to look her up. She is your auntie. I'm appointing her as your auntie today. So go look her up. She's somebody to know. Follow her on social media, all that. Next is Olivier Roosting. Yeah, Olivier Roosting. Olivier is the creative director for Balmain. I always talk about him and how I love his creative eye. He does such an amazing thing for Balmain. I believe he brings that spice, that breath of fresh air that the brand needs. And every collection that he has dropped for Balmain has been iconic. And so he is somebody that you need to know. When you look up Olivier though, it's not much that you might find out about him like personally, and since he is young, I don't believe there's like really any documentaries or anything that you can watch. But just look into some of the work that he's done with Balmain. Like, he's definitely done an amazing job for that brand and took it to new heights, and he continues to bring that fresh air and to break the barriers and to just have jaws dropped, especially with the Paris Couture collection that just came out after they haven't did couture in 16 years, and he came back like that. Like, it was insane. So make sure that you know who Olivier is. You probably see him all the time. You know who Olivier is, right? You know who Olivier is. I know who Olivier is. I love Olivier. But anyway, next is Ruth Carter. Next is Ruth Carter. Ruth Carter is a costume designer. She's probably was a part of the, well, not a part of, but was in charge of the costuming for every iconic movie that you've ever seen. She did the costumes for The Temptations, Selma, Sparkle, Black Panther, what's some other ones, School Days. She's worked a whole lot with Spike Lee. Like, Ruth Carter is the truth when it comes to costume designing. And if you don't know her, you need to get to know her. Like I said, she's probably done the costumes for all of the iconic movies that you love. So look into her, sis. And she also has, I believe she might still have her exhibition up in New York. It might have ended though, because New York Fashion Week is over. But I know that she was doing an exhibition or of some sort with Brandis Daniels, the person who created Harlem Fashion Row. They were doing like some sort of something together during New York Fashion Week. I actually think it happened the day before I went to New York, and I was so mad that I missed it. I think it was like an exhibition, but like a mix and mingle show type of thing. But it was definitely something to see. I believe she has a exhibit out in LA right now as well. So if you're watching from LA, you can go see it if it's still up. But Ruth Carter is definitely somebody that you want to know. She's definitely made history. And then also you can follow her on Instagram right now, because during Black History Month she's posting like all the movies she's ever did costuming for. So, you know, it was some movies that I didn't even know. I was like, really? Like, you really were responsible for that? Like, you just don't know how much work somebody has done. Like, you can think they're an icon and think, oh my gosh, she's done so much, and then they hit you with 1,000 more things they did, and you like, you did that too? So yeah, definitely check out Ruth Carter. Next we have, one moment. Next we have Jaleel Weaver. If you love Rihanna, you love the way she dresses like we all do, you should want to know her stylist. Rihanna, I'm pretty sure she has a lot of opinion into what she wears, and she just has someone that's able to put it all together, help her think of new, fresh, and creative ideas. But Jaleel Weaver is that person for her. That is her stylist. He does an amazing job with Rihanna, and if you love how Rihanna dresses, he's somebody that you definitely want to look into, because even if he does, you know, just heighten what she already brings and wants at the table, he gets the job done. Okay, he definitely gets the job done. So you can follow his Instagram so you can see him continuously getting the job done. And then this list, these next few names that I'm naming are iconic models, supermodels, that were back in like the 70s and just broke barriers and paved the way for models today. So that includes Beth Ann Hardison, Beverly Johnson, Iman, Pat Cleveland, and Naomi Campbell, of course. So those are awesome supermodels that broke barriers, paved the way for new models to come along, new black models to come along and do what they can do today. And without them, those barriers may not have ever been broken. And there are still barriers being broken, of course, but they definitely paved the way. Next we have Oswald Boateng. He's a suit designer. He was once the creative director for Givenchy. He's designed suits for Jay-Z, Will Smith, many different movies. He's an iconic fashion designer that you should know. So yes, Oswald Boateng. If you've never heard of him, Google him, search and see what you can find about him. He's an icon within the fashion industry, and he's a black icon at that. Next is Grace Jones. If you don't know who she is, I'm disappointed. Overall, she's an icon, and we're just gonna leave it there. Like, it's nothing that you can really say about Grace Jones besides she's an icon. Like, there's nothing else you can say. Anything that she's ever done is jaw-dropping. So we're just gonna leave it there. If you don't know who she is, I'm disappointed, but it's okay. Next we have Jay Alexander, aka Miss J. If you watched America's Next Top Model all of your life, you know, while you were a kid like I did, faithfully every week, you know who Miss J is. He's a runway coach, an icon in the fashion industry, someone who has helped many people, well, many models get to where they are. You definitely, if you want to get checked and read by somebody, you want to get read and checked by Miss J. So if you've never watched, let's just take a second. If you've never watched America's Next Top Model, I'm really like judging right now, because when I tell you that was my show, that was my show. You couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to be on America's Next Top Model when I turned 18. Like, every week I had to watch it. I had to. I don't watch it anymore. It's not as, I'm sorry, but it's not as good as it used to be. But we just gonna say, if you did not watch America's Next Top Model when you were younger, I am judging you. But Miss J is definitely somebody that you want to know. And last is Arthur McGee. He's also known as the grandfather of the fashion industry. He was a fashion designer, an amazing person, especially to get the name grandfather of fashion. But yes, and that is the last one. I hope that you learned a lot. I hope that you heard you already know some of these names. And I hope that if you don't know their names, that you are currently right now as we speak creating a list, and you're about to go Google them to see who they are, to see what you can find on them, to see what you can watch about them. As I said, this was a full list of black people in the fashion industry that you should know, whether they're currently in the fashion industry or they paved the way for black people in the fashion industry today. Like I always say, knowledge is wealth. You should know, if you're going into a certain industry, you should definitely know a lot about that industry. You should pride yourself in learning more about that industry and learning as much as you can, so you can know who's who, what's what, and what's been done. So if you heard some names and you don't know who they are, go Google it. It's okay, you get a pass this one time. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you turn on your post notifications so that you're notified every time that I upload a video. And if you enjoyed this video and all the other ones that I post, you can subscribe to my channel as well. But thank you guys for watching, and again, happy Black History Month. I will see you guys later. Peace out.